This is the Always Direct podcast, and we talk with movers and shakers of this world to learn about the ups and downs they went through to get where they are now. Let's get started with the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Direct podcast. I'm your host, John Rayan, and I am here with Jeremy Weiss. Jeremy Weiss is the co-founder of Rise 25, where they help business-to-business businesses get more clients, referral partners, and strategic partners through our done-for-you podcasting service. And I've worked with Jeremy personally. He's the one who helped me get started on my podcast and my journey. And I'm very happy to have you on the show today. Thank you for coming on.
I am super excited. I geek out on direct response, and I know you're always direct response, but I still want to hear always direct mail, what you do.
Yeah.
Before talking about me, I always like talking about you.
See, this is the most unselfish man I've ever met. He's always trying to bring it back to the clients and to the people, which is great. But today's about you. So this show is sponsored by the Always Direct Mail. It's alwaysdirectmail.com. Basically, anytime you ever need direct mail for your business, you need to call Always Direct Mail. They are the best in the designing, the printing, and giving you the advice on how to do direct mail. The power of direct mail is still very essential in the marketing space, along with digital, but mainly direct mail. And if you ask us, direct mail is the best way. So alwaysdirectmail.com, 866-407-6245. Give them a call, and they can help you for sure. So Jeremy, Rise 25.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys have a really good thing going on here. I love it.
I want to say something, a big shout out to direct mail in general. We help businesses launch and run their podcast. And we also have created courses on podcasting and other things. The way we sold, John, one of our courses was through direct mail. We actually sent someone a lumpy...
Tell me about it.
We sent someone a lumpy mail package. And by the way, our friend Steve Gum, shout out to Steve, we sent him this. And it was, I don't know if I've shared this publicly before, actually. So we called it the Severed Hand Campaign, okay? And we were coming out with a course. It was like a digital course, and it was a group program. So it wasn't just like pure digital where you can consume it online. We had people meet on a monthly basis to answer any of their questions and things like that. This is like in addition to our, the podcasting thing is a totally done for you podcast where you show up and record and then we do everything else. But this was like people who kind of want to learn and take it slowly. We did a severed hand campaign. So I created I don't know if it was like a 10-page direct mail piece. And
10 page. Wow.
And explaining what the program was going to be. And I thought it'd be fun. I don't know if you do this with your friends, anyone out there, probably not. We were geeking out on our favorite lumpy mail packages that we've ever received. And we were saying, okay, so one person received a blank check from someone, who was a consultant. Someone was trying to get this high-level consultant's business to send them a blank check and say, just fill in whatever you charge, and I want to work with you, like as a actual direct mail package. So I've received, and you probably received like gift baskets and, other sorts of packages. Well, this person said, there's a lot of people, I said, a lot of people wanted to work with us and they've raised their hand to work with us. I'm like, I should just send them like a hand or something. And the guy starts laughing and I go, this was like midnight or something. I go, actually, I should just send them like a hand. Like in the mail and go, I know you raised your hand to want to work with us and I don't know, we're not working together. And so I went online, I wrote the sales letter from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. that night, went online, found a Halloween store that sold severed hands, like plastic severed hands. It was kind of gross looking. It's got like a bloody stump on it. And we ordered 40 severed hands, sent out 40 packages with the severed hand and the sales letter and sent it out. And these were like this program was $3,000 to $5,000 depending on what bells and whistles people wanted. And some people thought it was hilarious, and some people were highly offended when they got it in the mail. But
that isn't that exactly what you wanted though?
I mean, it's my sense of humor. So like, if they don't think it's funny, it's kind of like, well, maybe you just won't like working with us, But we had like 25 people in the program, from sending out a direct mail package, a
40.
digital program.
So wow, that's huge. You're telling me
Yeah.
you send out 40 and you got 25 of them to actually sign up?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like, keep in mind, these weren't cold people. So like, these are
Warm,
people we
for
knew.
sure.
Yeah. We didn't send like a severed hand to someone we didn't know, but, we followed up with a text and an email. So it wasn't like just, I don't want to say, oh, you send it out and like all these people came in. Like, we followed up with an email and a text. So it was multi-channel, which you recommend also with what you do. Anyone, just a shout out, like, you have a past episode where you talk about using display ads with direct mail that are killing it for people. And so anyways, that it's just, I have so many fun stories. Whenever I have the chance to send out direct mail, I send out direct mail because
it's powerful. It works. 25 out of 40. And what's your sales cycle like? I mean, when you touch base with somebody, are you talking 3 months, 6 months, 1 month before you can actually, close that deal?
For the podcast in general, or so for the podcast in general, like, the most important thing is, it's relationships and it's strategy. And so when we start to work with someone, or even if we're getting advice to someone on starting a podcast, or it's really business development, it's really, how do you give to your best relationship? So we start off with the sale. You ask about the sales cycle. Well, we start off with doing actually Dream 100 blueprint and mapping out the best relationships they have and the ones they want. Like, I feel like John and our superpower is helping people connect to the best possible referral partners, strategic partners, and clients. Like, I probably send, I think you know this, I probably send 10 to 15 introductions per day to different people in my network.
Yeah.
Per day.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you're a networking machine.
So the sales cycle is short as far as the initial engagement, because it's a Dream 100 process where we map it out over 3 sessions. So even if someone comes to us, John is like, hey, we want to do a podcast, let's do this. I'm like, well, let's talk about this. It's like someone ordering a pizza. We were talking earlier, and they just go, okay, I want a pepperoni pizza, send it to me. And you're like, okay, well, I need your address. I need certain things first. And so our process is we do these 3 meetings that maps out everything they need for a 12-month plan. And typically that's not like a huge monetary, engagement. So once we do that, then we find out their needs. So it could be like 4 weeks probably from doing the actual blueprint sessions, Dream 100, to making a recommendation based on their needs, and then moving forward from there. So it's like, probably like a 4-week period.
That's great. And how many, well, I guess, so do you recommend new podcasters to go all the way in and go with the YouTube, or two sessions, shows a week? What's your recommendation for a newbie
to start off? Yeah. I mean, I am all about simplicity. Okay. Like, and so everyone is also different, has different technical prowess, I guess you could say. So some people, the question is, should I do, there's audio and video. Should I just do audio? Should I do video? Should I do transcripts? Like all this stuff. And I said, listen, I don't care what you do. Just get started. If you're going to get started with if it's going to hold you back to do the video too, don't do the video, right? But if someone's working with us and they ask me, should we do it? I say, same thing. Like, even though it's a little bit more of a package for us to do the video for them, I'll say, what's simple for your guest too? Like, the guest has to have good Wi-Fi, there has to be certain things in place for your guest, which you don't have control over. If they're on a Wi-Fi that's bad and the video is choppy and then you can't hear the audio, then I just am a big proponent of shutting off the video. So most of the time,
just focusing on the audio.
Yeah, like 90% of the time, I would just be like, just do audio. I've been doing video and audio for 10 years. So obviously there's a huge power of video being on YouTube, which obviously is owned by Google. So the search engines, and it's more personal to be on video. So I recommend to start audio only for most people. but recording it on video, just like we are. Like this will go out, like you do video and audio, but even if you're only doing audio, still be on the video because it's more personal relationship with the guest that you have on.
Gotcha.
So that's what I'd recommend for most people. Just keep it simple. Do audio only, but record it with the video component as well.
So great point there, Jeremy. I really appreciate that. And I think that it goes for almost everybody in the world that when they're starting something, one of the biggest things that hold them back is they want to make everything perfect, or they're trying to do too much at one time. The most important step is get started, no matter what it is. Get the ball rolling. Would you agree with that? Is that what you basically
100%.
a summary? Yeah.
I mean, it's like when we recorded this, let's just hop on and do it because my friend Ian Garlic, who you know, version done is better than version perfect or whatever he says. You know what I mean? And I think he has a t-shirt that's like, it probably rhymes and I'm butchering it, but you get my drift.
Yeah.
With anything, right?
Yeah.
Speed of execution, implementation in business. Like when I was studying, I just, I listen to like 3 to 6 books per week on Audible. And the trend that I kept hearing from some of the most successful leaders and entrepreneurs are speed of implementation. So that's kind of ingrained in my mind of speed of implementation,
Yes. So speaking of Iron Garlic, irongarlic.com. If you need somebody to help you with your video storytelling or your online marketing consulting, this is the man to go to. He was one of my first podcasts that I did not press record on, and I had a wonderful conversation with this man. He was so intellectual and so down to earth and so great, and you introduced me to him, so thank you for that. But I was still wet behind the ears. I was nervous. I didn't click the right buttons. Anyways, shout out to Iron Garlic for giving me the time when I didn't have really a show even to start with. And so irongarlic.com, he's basically, in my opinion, he's kind of a guru. I mean, he's got a podcast.
He's a video marketing expert, I would say.
Yeah, he's a guru in video marketing. I mean, the Garlic. He's got a podcast. He's got the social media section. I mean, he's great. He knows what he's talking about. So if you need anything with that, go to irongarlic.com. Okay. So let me ask you: would you recommend, Jeremy? Would you recommend any business owner to have a podcast? And what I mean by that is, I mean, yes, there's a lot of B2B businesses but I'm talking about, like, what about a restaurant? What about a small gym? A guy has a 1,200 square foot gym, or he has a small pizzeria with carry on delivery, like 1,000 square foot. Would you recommend them ways, or is that a waste?
Okay, so I'm biased because I have a service that we help people run their podcast. But despite that, even predating this, I've been podcasting for 10 years. This company and service is 5 years old. It predates this. I would tell anyone, even before I had a self-serving reason to say this, John.
Sure.
I said, hands down, a podcast has been the best thing that I've done for my relationships and my business, hands down. So I don't care who you are. Now, it makes the most sense for someone who's a B2B business with a high client lifetime value because you get one client or referral partner and it pays for whatever amount of time, energy, money that you're spending. But I've seen no better way to increase your authority in the space. I don't care if it's like, we can go through some scenarios. Like if I was a small gym, 100% I would have a podcast. Why? Because I would connect to medical doctors in the area who maybe have certain types of people that have knee rehab. Like maybe they have people coming in who need to work out, or maybe they have a diabetes program, and the part of the diabetes program they need to work out for type 2 diabetes. And so I would connect with, there's always referral sources. I don't care what business you're in, right? And there's also, if you're a pizza, so for the gym, I would have on people in the community, and I would become the authority in the fitness space in my 5-mile radius. I would interview every single influential person in the area. I would have on the top medical professionals in the area, and I would be the known fitness space in the area. For a pizzeria, same thing. Like in a given area, there's other restaurants that are restaurant owners that are influential. There's other people in the community that are influential, right? And so just getting in profiling. So what people think is the podcast wouldn't be about pizza if you're a pizzeria. It would be about like, let's say someone lived in like Barrington or something, right? Barrington, Illinois. Most people have never heard of probably. But Barrington, Illinois, like top people who are around top businesses and business owners in Barrington, Illinois. And you feature the top people in your community. And you become known as that community podcast. And obviously, if you're the local pizzeria, if you know all these people, who are they going to order from?
Absolutely.
Domino's? Are you going to order from someone who's like featured you on their podcast and if they're influential, they're like, oh, you got to try this pizza again. Like the product's good. You got to do this pizza. Oh, by the way, check out my episode on their All Barrington Business podcast or something, right? So I don't care who you are, you can, build relationships, gain authority, and it's great content and so many other residual benefits.
It's interesting you're saying that. I'm just thinking about it while we're talking about it. I just imagine, and I've been in the restaurant business for many years, own a restaurant. I still own restaurants, but I'm not hands-on anymore. But I just imagine reaching out through LinkedIn, through Facebook group messaging, principals, vice presidents of schools, athletic director, the Chamber of Commerce directors. Think about the most important people who are the influencers in the community, in Palatine, in Barrington, and it's not just okay. You have a restaurant in this one town. Most towns, most businesses, especially pizzerias, you might service 3-4 different cities. Because if it's a 5-minute drive from you, they're willing to go for it if they like you. So now you have 3 or 4 Chamber of Commerces. You have 8 different schools, elementary schools, grade schools, daycare centers.
Yeah. The most influential people.
And you're making them feel important.
Yeah. And that's the thing. When you go into, what I like to do when I go into any relationship is think of, the question I ask myself, John, is this: how do I give to that person as much as humanly possible? Like that's what I'm not thinking of getting anything. I'm not thinking of asking for anything. I'm thinking of how do I give this person? And what the podcast allows me to do is start with a give, like, hey, let me profile you and your story, and I'll put it across 15 different channels and profile you. And people love that and feel good about it. And if something comes out of it, great. If something doesn't, great. But if you think of like from a pizzeria's perspective, who are the companies that order the most amount, or people that order the most amount of pizzas, right? Like you said, and maybe it's a company in the area that's 100 staff, and like every day they're ordering lunch, right? So if you had the CEO of that company on, then now you could couple with the direct mail too, obviously. But you can have that person on. Now they know about your option as a lunch, and they may order like, who knows? They maybe order like 15 pizzas a week or something. I don't know what they do, but
sure.
That's something to think about, giving to relationships, right?
Yeah, all the manufacturing. Every town has an area that's like warehouses or manufacturing. Most places.
Yeah.
So you go there, you just go on their website and you find out who the top 7 or 8 decision makers are. And you just start to reach out to them, and they're all available because they have to be. They have to have an email, a phone number. They have to be accessible to the public most of the time. And all you have to do is just send out a couple of emails, and you'll be surprised by the response. I have been surprised by the response, but also you have set us up. You have set me up for success. I literally haven't had to think about anything. I just have templates to follow.
Yep.
If you want to do this, this is the template. Just erase this part and put your name or put their name. I literally have a copy and paste strategy that, because it's hard for me to learn things new, especially with a bunch of family life and businesses. I don't want to learn too many things. I just want to focus on what I do best. And you've provided me the tools to actually get this launched. By the way, I talked about starting a podcast for like a year and a half, but it became a daunting task. Like I started talking about it.
It can be a daunting task.
How do you do?
Totally.
Tell me all the podcasting websites that you have to post it on. Tell me about all of them.
Oh, you mean every week?
No, like there's Stitcher.
Oh,
I don't even, I don't
yeah.
even know what
So
Stitcher is.
that's so the beautiful part is like you have someone on and you record a 30-minute or 45-minute conversation and it goes across over 15 different channels, meaning
15.
Stitcher, like probably over 15 because it goes on Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. There's other ones that no one's heard of, but people actually listen on these other podcast channels. So it goes on those. It goes on on the website. It then gets also streamed to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. So like that one conversation gets distributed across all these channels. So
am I getting distributed to Twitter as well?
Once we set up that connection, it goes on Twitter.
I don't even have a Twitter account.
Yeah.
First of all, I thought Twitter was the dumbest thing in the world for the longest time in my life. I thought, why would I want to send out these random text messages to the world? Now, look at it. When it first came out, man, technology is crazy.
I mean, here's the thing. People consume on different channels, right? So someone may have an iPhone, they listen only on iTunes. And so they have that option. Some people, go on Spotify. Some people will go right to your website. So you just want to have it everywhere because you just don't know where people consume things.
Sure.
Or where the company that you're featuring consumes things. They may have grown their Twitter following over the past 5 years where another person's like, what's Twitter? I don't even have a Twitter account. So as long as we are doing it, we might as well just distribute it in as many places as possible.
Makes sense. It makes sense to me.
And that's what takes that conversation further, right? So that conversation that you have with someone, most people say this, John, exactly what you said is, I'm too busy. I don't have the time because I have a family, I have a business, I have kids, I have all this other stuff. How do I have time for this? And I say, well, one, should you already be having conversations with your best strategic partners, referral partners, and clients? Yes. So why not make it go further by recording it and then actually putting out to the world?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the fundamental business elements in anybody's business is you need to be part of the community. This allows you to do that remotely.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to physically go out, get dressed. I could be in my underwear right now. Nobody knows. And I could talk to a president of a manufacturing company who's going to then bring me one day business, or I might bring him business. Who knows how that symbiotic relationship is going to be. But you get to meet people. Some of them are going to be amazing, and you're going to have lifelong relationships with. For example, you. I think for me and you, you're never going to forget me, and I'm never going to forget you. Even if we stop doing the podcast one day, which I doubt will ever happen, we've created a relationship. I think that you'll always think of me when you think of pizza and when you think of direct mail, right?
Totally, 100%. 100%. It is about that, what people don't get, John, something with the process. Yes, there's a direct business reason, but there is a legacy reason of leading someone's thought leadership behind. There's also a relationship reason. I've gone to people's weddings. That's how my business partnership with John Corcoran started, is because of podcasting. So some of my best friends have come because I've had them on the podcast. Ian Garlic, for example, same thing. We deepen the relationship through this whole podcasting world, So
tell me, let's just say I am a restaurant owner and I want to get started with Rise 25. What's the process? So do I just email you guys? Do I call? Is there a phone number, or just go to the website, fill out an application? Or how does it work?
Yeah. I mean, rise25.com, people can just contact us through there, or they can also email me directly at jeremy@rise25.com. But if it goes to the contact form, it goes to our support team. And that's it. And then we have a brainstorm. We start off with a 15-20-minute brainstorming call to see, what you're thinking. And then from there we go, is it a fit to do the Dream 100 process, which is 3 sessions. And then from there we think, okay, is it a fit to go forward with us running it? And then we make a recommendation. So that it's very simple, but even if someone has questions, they could email me anytime, and I'm always answering questions about podcasting, content marketing, relationship building, business development, that kind of thing.
Okay, guys, rise25.com. Jeremy Weiss, I would love to say thank you so much for coming onto the show. I mean, we talk all the time, but I appreciate you giving me the time. I know you're a busy man. And anybody who is listening to this, who is questioning, if you have that inkling to start a podcast, do not, I repeat, do not try and do it yourself. You will probably give up pretty quickly because of the learning curve is unreal. And if you're running a business, you're already busy. Rise25.com. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Always Direct podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.